Listen, man, hi, y'all. We're back again. And, we got us two
We're
idiots.
back, even
And
though
we
I've never
dragged
been here.
AGP. Yeah, he's not ready for this. It's okay. He's ready for
Hi,
this.
everyone.
But we got
It gets
3 Reddit
messy.
stories themed from Christmas to get the ante going for the holidays. I don't really know which one's the worst out of all of these. They're just icky situations. So that's kind of all
Let's
I got.
get right to the shit. Let's get
Alright,
into it.
I got you. So the first one is let's see. This was originally posted on True Off My Chest, and then it got sub-posted onto Best of Writer Updates. And it's titled, "My Girlfriend Left Me for Putting a Christmas Tree Up." This was in 2022, so this is a very old one. I was single-handedly raised by my grandfather. He is like a father to me. He did his best to give me a normal childhood in an effort to try and make up for my father not being there. My grandpa loves Christmas. He always made sure that we had the best ever. We weren't well off. Most of his gifts were handmade. This made it even more special because he was very good at creating things from wood, and they were fascinating. He taught me everything I know, and I'm so grateful for that. We would bake cookies and make delicious... Why are you taking the laptop?
Don't worry about it. Just keep reading.
Okay, you make sure you're scripting all of this. Got you. Anyway, he taught me everything I know, and I'm so grateful for that. We would bake cookies and make delicious dinner from scratch and sit by the fire doing puzzles. We still live together, and I'm the one taking care of him now. My girlfriend stays with us, and it's been a year of that now. My grandfather has been unwell for a while, and he's only getting worse. The doctor does not think that he will make it to the end of this year. I'm very devastated, and I feel like my whole world is falling apart, but I'm trying not to show it. On a particularly bad day for him, my grandfather asked me, "Is it Christmas yet?" And when I said no, he continued to tell me how he can't wait for it and how he will make me a bookshelf for all my books. He hasn't been able to make anything in years because of his arthritis. This conversation broke my heart, and on a whim, I decided that we're going to have Christmas in July. This did not go down well with my girlfriend. She kept saying it was a waste of time and that it was weird to want to act like it's Christmas when it's not. When I insisted we put up a tree and decorations inside the house, she called me crazy and threatened to leave. She said my grandfather is not a child and even kids can wait until Christmas. I told her that this Monday, when I finally get a day off, it's Christmas, whether she likes it or not. She could either choose to be a part of it or she can go do what she thinks is best for her, but I would love her support. Well, when I came back from work, she was gone and so were her clothes. As for my grandfather and I, we have already started watching Christmas movies, and when I get back from work, if he isn't in bed yet, I can't even begin to explain just how much he loves it. I will get us silly matching pajamas and try to get some of his favorite things, wrap them up, and put them under the tree. I will also make us a nice Christmas lunch and hopefully light up the fireplace if it's not too hot, which is so unlikely. Maybe I'm going crazy, but I just want to do this even if it seems stupid. Merry Christmas. There is one update, but what are your thoughts?
Shoot. First and foremost, I would like to say, if you're taking care of your family member and you're their primary caretaker, it's your job and or a great responsibility to take care of somebody that you love. As someone who's in a relationship right now, if my grandpa, rest his soul, if he was still alive and he's still here, and I was able to take care of him again and go through the process, and he wanted to have Christmas, motherfucker, we are having Christmas in
Exactly.
July. You know what I mean? Like, we're gonna have Christmas in July because it's not the fact of it's weird and it's crazy. It's just the fact of you're spending as much time as you can with someone that you love. You know,
Well,
so
and
her
it's like-
leaving is.
Her leaving is really shitty, but it's the fact that she was like, he can wait until Christmas just like the kids. Okay, well, sorry to break the reality to you. He doesn't have until Christmas just like the kids. He could keel over at any moment, and if he wants this memory, like, you have that memory with your grandfather through and through till the end. And it's one day. It's not like, it's not a huge, like, interruption of your day-to-day life to set up a Christmas tree for a day in July. Like, okay, I'm gonna buy pumpkins in June.
I mean,
like,
I mean, shit. I'm in that
Right.
situation right now, taking care of my fucking or helping take care of my grandfather and everything. So, I'm sorry, but ain't nobody like I love this man to death. Ain't nobody coming in between. I don't care if it's a relationship. I don't care if it's a job. I don't care if it's family. Ain't nobody coming. Like I will oust myself from any and everything that needs to be to make sure that I am here to take care of him, and I stick by as bad as it sounds to say until he's gone and everything because I already made that commitment to my fucking self. That
Exactly.
I'm
And
not
it's
going
like,
anywhere
I
until
think
he
the
is
main
gone.
I think the main thing with this is just it's not along the facts of like, oh my gosh, my grandpa, like he's getting older and all that. It's just the main principle of like the whole fact that your grandpa doesn't have as long as we do, as long as the kids. He doesn't have these amenities, you know what I mean? And it's like it's up to you as somebody who's taking care of them to make sure that they go out with a bang, you know?
like for
And even
real.
if on the sense that if they want to have Christmas, let's have Christmas. And I think it's extremely selfish and idiotic that she was like, I'm gonna leave you because this is crazy. Because it just brings out the narcissism in you. It shows the narcissism.
Honestly,
Well, and it's
Because
also
how can
like,
you be mad?
honestly,
I just don't like
How
that's so
could you
much
be
hate in
mad
a
at that?
person too, because like you cherish every memory you
mm-hmm.
have with somebody long after they're gone, and you remember every peak happy moment. Like, for me, I Christmases are different with me and my family now. Granted, I moved away, and it's harder, but like, something that I've always remembered, and it was before my uncle had passed away, was that we were in the snow during Christmas, up in a cabin, fighting with lightsabers.
That sounds fun as man.
I will never forget that
That sounds
memory.
so fun.
And I can still remember like his laugh of me being like 6, being like, "Yeah, I got you, Obi-Wan," and like it made him so happy, and I'll never forget that.
Yeah, I got you, Obi-Wan.
He had the
I have
purple
the high
lightsaber.
ground. But like I just think it just shows the borderline narcissism in someone if you're not willing to just experience a memory, even though it doesn't take a long time to set up Christmas stuff. It doesn't take a long time to watch a movie. It doesn't take that much time. And
It's
if you feel like you're
one
running, yeah,
night.
it's one night. Yeah, literally, it's one night. You spend one day prepping, one night is spending it watching movies with matching pajamas, cooking marshmallows outside, even though it's hot as shit. Like you're
Sipping
fine.
fucking hot cocoa and
Hot
shit. Like,
cocoa and all that. Like you're
Exactly.
fine, dude. Just experience the memory. What's the update? I gotta hear this update.
Okay, so the
mhm.
update comes. So the original post was in July 10th of 2022. The update comes August. When I wrote my original post, I was going through a lot of emotions. I felt a bit insane for insisting on having Christmas in the middle of the year just to make my grandpa happy. I was glad when a lot of people validated my feelings on this post, and the encouragement uplifted my spirit. Sadly, my grandpa, sorry, died from sudden cardiac arrest a few days ago. I know that he did not have long to live, but I did not think it would be so soon. In a manner that my heart was not prepared for, I've been trying to keep myself busy with everything, but last night in bed, I cracked and cried for the first time in a long time. The only thing that makes me feel a bit better is remembering how happy he was on Christmas morning. I will never forget the look on his face and his all over demeanor. He had so much life in him, and to my surprise, he smiled mischievously, took off his wedding band, and gifted it to me as a Christmas present. I do not remember ever seeing him take it off before in my entire life. It was a sobering moment, but it was also a memory that I will forever hold close to my heart. It meant the absolute world to me. We had such a great day. I did not want it to end. Now it's like my whole entire world came crashing down. I feel alone. I do, however, appreciate that I was lucky enough to have had him in my life.
You see, this is exactly what I mean, because unfortunately his grandfather passed away. But that's a cherished memory that's gonna last you lifetimes. Like when you're old and you're talking to your grandkids, and you're sitting there having a conversation like, I remember when my grandpa was alive and I held Christmas in July, and it was one of the best days for me ever. And that's something that
Mhm.
the girlfriend just didn't seem to realize. So good riddance.
Dude, for
Good
real.
Yeah,
fucking
fuck her.
riddance.
And it's also like,
Honestly.
See ya.
obviously we can't speak for the grandfather, but if it's just something from, I've worked with patients who, I used to be a physical therapy assistant. I worked with people who were on their deathbeds. I worked with dementia patients. Hardest job known to man. Oh my God, too many days crying. That's a different thing. But to make one of his last memories the happiest he could have been, instead of basically doing something and being happy instead of sitting in bed being like, oh yeah, I'm gonna die, because they know, they're not stupid, they understand when their time is approaching. And I think him gifting his grandson that wedding band was like his thing of like, I know this is coming up soon, so this is like my appreciation back.
Oh my
Mhm.
God. All I could think about is the grandpa going, good riddance to that one lady. Here, take this for the next one. For the next one.
It's dangerous to go alone. Take
He said, no, all I could think about is the way he just like took it off. He's like, fuck that other bitch.
Mhm. Mhm.
He's all, I hated her.
You're gonna, I hated that one. You see, you're gonna take this ring for the next girl. You know, she's gonna be the opposite from this girl.
I think what's worse
Whatever
too is like old people
that
have
last
like
one.
no remorse when they say things, especially when they're
Mhm.
knowing that their time is approaching. You want a no filter grandparent? Oh my God. They have all morals are gone because they're like, I'm going anyway, so we're doing it with a bang. Like,
Oh my. I remember I met this one old person when I used to work at a sushi bar. He came in, he was like, he was going super slow, but it was just funny. He had like the biggest smile, and he just, in the line as I'm doing his sushi bowl, it was like ahi poke, and I was doing his bowl. He's sitting there just giving me his life story, and it was the funniest thing ever. He kept bringing up, he was like, I used to get all kinds of bitches back in my day, and he said those exact words. I'm not even kidding. And he said those exact
Dude,
words to
old
me, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, "Oh yeah." I was like, "You were a player." I was like, "You were a player," and he's like, "Yeah, not anymore, not with these old bones." I was like, I was
dude,
sitting
they
there
don't care.
because he was sitting there. He was like, "You must get all kinds of girls." I was like, "No, I was in theater. I don't get girls. No."
I was in
I was
theater.
like, "No." I was like, that doesn't work for me. I was like, he's like, "You're tall. You're 6'4". You got it all. I'm like, I'm working here, sir. You think I got it all? Like,
Yo, grandpas don't
no,
play.
no, they don't.
old
Oh
people
my
are the
gosh.
fucking best
They
sometimes
are.
though.
Well, and like,
Mhm.
I don't know. Like, I'm trying to like think in my head, and it's just like bonds that you make with like strangers as well. Because your story just reminded me of, so I used to go to like, our high school was close to a McDonald's. I didn't have McDonald's money. I didn't have like an allowance or anything, but I would just go with my friends to exist and feel like a cool kid. And I was still whatever, I was the weirdo, but there was always this old guy in there, and he was always like, he always had a table laid out, and he would have a McDouble, and sometimes it was typically once every Friday he would have an ice cream cone. And basically, like, he always had a full table laid out of paperwork and drawings and scribbles and a journal. And he really was really interesting to me, and like, I would start talking to him. He was an artist. He would go to McDonald's every day and just draw. And what was cool about him is you could be having a conversation with him, and he was drawing a portrait of you. And his portraits, oh my God, are phenomenal. He's been drawing since he was 7. He became like a grandpa to me pretty quickly, and I was there every day after that. If I could go to McDonald's, I was going to McDonald's. I knew he was there. I wanted to hang out with him. He taught me how to do shading
Right.
on a McDonald's napkin. He bought me a sketchbook, got me an art book, got me pencils. Like, we had phone numbers, so he would call me and leave voicemails. And with that journal, every day of his life, he's been journaling since he was 7, which is like a diary. He has bookshelves filled because every day was entries, entries, entries. So his whole life story is written down. And like, dude, I remember everything about this man. I still have voicemails from him. He did pass away a couple years ago. And the only reason I was aware of it is because his wife was reading his journals, found my name and phone number multiple times, and called me and invited me to her house. And I got to see his library of books. I got to see all of his journals. He had an entire separate, like, cottage in the backyard just for paintings. And I got to see his very last painting on the easel to dry. We'll never forget him. Ever. Love him to death. Like, I got a tattoo in memory of him.
This is like one of those sad Disney movies.
Dude,
I'm sorry.
It is.
I'm sorry. Your
It's
story
still
just reminds me
beautiful.
of like the what's that? Is it Inside Out with the? He's like, go Riley, go.
no, not the elephant. I can't
all it
handle
reminds me
that.
of is the elephant just go Riley, you got this, and he just
Dude.
disappears.
So, if I can make it more sad, I can. There's one voicemail that I've kept on my phone. I have had it since 2017. It's transferred to every phone I have gotten. I refuse to get rid of it. I collect voicemails from everybody close to me because you never know when, right? And I've had this voicemail for years. Obviously, it's 2024 now. And I didn't learn this until about a year and a half ago. I was missing him and I was playing the voicemails again. He typically had a very long pause and then would just end. So I never played it all the way through. At the very end of the voicemail, with like 3 seconds to spare, he says hugs and kisses. And it took me years to realize that was in the voicemail. I will never get rid of it. I will keep it everywhere I go.
Oh my, that's how I am with photos. I think for me, I still have photos of when I was a kid. My mom, we have like this bag, right? And this bag has hundreds of printed photos of our family growing up throughout the years. And the one thing that unfortunately got lost, we had a extremely old, like one of the first types of cameras, like the handheld camera with the thing that comes out and you have to like plug in the AV cords and stuff. We had one of those and it literally had one tape, like the whole drive was taken up, but it was one tape of our entire Christmas with my grandpa that passed away.
Aw.
And we had that all the way up until I was 18 and it was lost forever. It was
I
an
hope one day
unfortunate
that
thing,
y'all find that.
but we do have one photo that we got multiplied, like we duplicated it, like made copies, where I have it in my cupboard and my mom has it on the wall.
See, like, memories mean so much to people. So, respectfully, OP, your ex sucked! She fucking sucked, bro!
Your ex is a piece of shit.
Dude, for real. It's
Good
okay, because
riddance.
it only gets worse from here.
Of course it does.
So, the next one, before I go on another tangent, comes from True Off My Chest, and it's titled Cousin's Gift, Ruined Christmas, and Possibly My Relationship. I come from a big family. Our holidays involve extended family like second cousins, etc. My fiance and I are in our mid-20s, and there are a lot of cousins in their 20s and 30s. Last night, we had a big Christmas party. It was fun to see everybody until it was time to exchange presents. My cousin, Anna, not her real name, hands out pink envelopes to all the 20s and 30s men who have married or dated into the family. My fiancé received one and quickly put it in his pocket after opening. I was distracted opening my gift, so I didn't ask to look at it. About 20 minutes later, my cousin Rachel, again not a real name, pulls me aside and says Anna is giving out cards with instructions on how to get a discount subscription to her OF. Rachel's boyfriend got one of the pink cards, showed Rachel because he was weirded out.
Excuse me?
Yeah. I'm pissed at this point because I suspect my fiance's card also has an OF discount. So I asked to talk with him and he denies getting a card from Anna. I tell him, I saw her hand you one. I watched you put it in your pocket. I go to grab his pocket and suddenly he remembers getting the card but claims he didn't open it. I take it from him and of course it's already opened. And of course it's about effing or fucking OF. I go back inside to confront Anna, and I find her already arguing with a different cousin who is upset because her husband has already tried looking at her page. Anna claims that she's just trying to get her business off the ground, and no one appreciates the hard work and skills it takes to be successful in a digital career. She says her gift is not sexual, it's just marketing. Some of the other relatives, aunts and uncles, are starting to take sides, but they're mostly really confused about what's going on. Anna's mom started crying because of something I said, and my mom tried to get me to apologize, which pissed me off more. At this point, I leave with my brother and his husband, because I don't want to spend the night with my fiance at home. I don't feel like going with my parents when my mom is pressuring me to apologize. Oh, and surprise, surprise, Anna didn't give my brother's husband a card, so make of that what you will about the intent behind her gift. I'm seriously considering calling off the engagement over that. I'm pissed off at my cousin for ruining both Christmas and my relationship.
What the fuck? I'm so sorry. Excuse my language.
Not only the fact that she's doing that at Christmas, the fact that all of the husbands were going and either trying to hide the fact that they were trying to look it up, like that whole family is just like
Who promotes their
up.
OF at a family function? Those are like the last
I'm so
people you want to
sorry.
know that you do that.
Honestly,
I'm sorry. I'm taking it in right now.
And to
I'm
all
taking
of
it
your-
in.
all of your family's spouses.
The information is flooding into my brain. The cogs are turning. Because what the fuck is wrong with you?
She a hoe.
Oh,
She a
yeah.
whole ass hoe.
Let me give my 2 cents on this because she singled out the husbands who dated into the family.
Yeah, so not
'Cause
blood
all of
relatives.
I'm gonna try to think about this in a legitimate standpoint.
Mhm.
She's trying to market her body to the husbands of the family because they're either unhappy or they're all, looking at adult websites. And it's weird. I'm gonna say this. It's fucking downright disgusting that you did this at Christmas with all of the
Mhm.
women there.
It's a
Especially
family.
all of the wives, the family, the grandpa, the grandma, like all
For real,
of them.
tell Mima what she
there?
did. She would not approve. Somebody tell Grandma.
Tell Mima. Tell grandma. She's gonna kick you out. But that's just downright wrong. And it's even worse that the
Mhm.
husbands are like, I didn't get a card when Mima was watching you. Mima saw it. Grandma saw the whole ordeal. She saw the pink envelopes. They're not very, they're not discreet. They're not black. They're pink. Like
I
him.
want to know what the purpose
Hot
was for
pink.
the mom wanting OP to apologize. Like, respectfully, if I go to any family function and a distant relative approaches Rosie and hands him a card for her OF, we're swinging right now. I don't care if it's in the kitchen. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're going.
Yeah.
It's just the unfortunate side of this is like the husbands aided it. You know what I mean? Like they aided it because they tried to hide
Yeah, that's
it.
the part that I can't get over. Like, if I was in that
is-
situation, right, and I'm with a partner, and we're at anything, and somebody comes up and hands me a card, like, yeah, I'll look at it, but as soon as I see it's OnlyFans, I'm like, the fuck is this? Like,
Rip it up.
and I will call that bitch out right then and there in front of God and everybody. Like, the fuck do you think you're doing trying to promote this type of shit? One, to us who have a spouse.
Dude.
Two, at a family function that we're trying to just have for the holidays and everything. Like, I'd kick him out.
I will say props to the
I'm not
cousin's
so real.
husband, though. The cousin's husband was the one who noticed it and was like, yo, babe, look at this. That's really weird. But OP's husband was the one who was like, ooh, I got the link. I got a discount code. What are you
I
doing?
got a discount. I got a discount code to look at ass. Like, no, that's
It's
not,
free
that's
everywhere
not how it
else.
works.
Why do I feel like some of those husbands already knew that she does OnlyFans and are already subscribed to
Oh,
her?
the fact that it's a
and were like,
discount
This is
code,
an
she's done this
unfortunate bit.
before. This has definitely happened in the
Oh,
past
yeah.
for people who already had her page to have a discount code. You're just releasing a
Mhm.
bundle package on there
Mhm.
that they're like, ooh, I don't have to pay $20 this time. Like, they've been doing
I'm
it.
gonna be so
Mhm.
real.
Oh, maybe I.
I'm gonna be.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh.
Merry
I'm
Christmas
gonna be
to
so
me.
real on this aspect. Okay, I'm gonna put myself in his shoes, right? The husband who got the gift, if it was me and my wife Mochi, or not wife yet, girlfriend Mochi, me and my
Wife.
girlfriend Mochi, right? If I was handed a pink card and she wasn't, I would hold the card in my hand and be like, babe, do you want to open this with me? Because I like it when she's included. So we open this card and see it's an OnlyFans link. Obviously, she's going to ask me, have you looked? And obviously, I'm going to tell her, why? You're right here. I have a
No, for
personal
real!
OnlyFans in my house.
Exactly.
Like, you can, like, who the fuck, get the, like, and at that aspect, I would literally single-handedly look at her and say something to her like, why are you promoting this at a family event? Especially to the people you're supposed to call family. Because keep in mind, isn't she a part of this family?
Yeah, she's a part of the family. She singled out the men who were married in, so not blood relatives, just family by marriage, which is just as disgusting because it's like, that's still somebody that you call
That's
uncle
your-
or aunt, like whatever.
No, you're like, I really want you to think about this. These are your sister. Like, this is your, like, think about it. She, like, cousins, right? These are your cousins, people that are in your family, right? That your aunts and uncles and all of them,
Mhm.
they're siblings. And now you're sending these things to these people that are like your like second sister at this point. Like, that's just so weird to me. That's so beyond
Mhm.
weird.
And to try to brush it
And then
off
the
as like
husband's-
Get some
marketing.
help.
How could you market your family?
Well,
Why
and
would
it's
you
like,
ever try to market your
again, when it
family?
comes to, like, if you were doing anything else, right? If you were doing an actual digital career like what we do, or if you're a designer, or if you're a 3D maker, cool, promote that at the family function, give them a discount code so it encourages people into your shop or whatever you're doing. But if it is specifically OF, which is a different, that's not a digital career, that is a whole different sideline in and of itself. And I'm not trying to hate on the girly pops who do it. If you do it and you enjoy it, more power to you. You don't do it at family functions though, and it's also really weird to me that you even want people in the family to see you in that manner.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. That's disgusting. It's disgusting. What the fuck?
Mhm.
Like, these are people that are in your family, and you want them to see you assless and assless chaps and all doing all of the hanky panky. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Dude, for real. And
I
like
feel
also,
oh my.
so this is like playing kind of playing devil's advocate, but in a really different way, not like aiding the cousin in this at all. The fact that you're handing out these cards, take the husband who did say like, babe, look at this is weird. Say instead he threw it away or it dropped on the floor. I'm going to take a solid assumption that there's children there. And all kids nowadays know how to use a phone and Google. This would take 2 seconds until a little kid goes, hey mom, why is auntie not wearing clothes? And then you have a whole different situation on your hands.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's just disgusting, dude. Oh my gosh, that's just. Because I remember when I was a
If
kid,
the
I was
kid
using my mom's
even
emails
fucking
and
shows
shit.
their parents.
Exactly.
Because I use my mom's email to beta test Destiny when it first came out. Because you needed to be like an adult to play that game when Destiny 1 came out for the beta. And I used
Yeah.
my mom's email, and it's like so easy because technology nowadays it's just so easy to get this stuff. And you giving out OnlyFans, and what happens when fucking your little niece and nephew are like, oh my god, she has no clothes on. Look. And then they find that to be a normal Because half the time when everyone was kids, they were very secretive. They would not tell your parents. Now you got a bunch of nieces and nephews trying to be like you, shaking their ass on the internet. No offense. Okay, I'm not going to say what you do for a job is what you do for a job. That's what you do for a living, and that's your choice. Me personally, I just don't think it should be marketed during Christmas when grandma and, Uncle Tommy is showing up and your little niece, fucking, what's a name? What's a kid's name? Jeffrey, your little nephew Jeffrey running around. Oh my God, what's this? What's OnlyFans? It's just not right. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Well, and then you
Don't do
also
that.
have to think,
Is there an
aside
update?
from like, there is no update on this. And like another side tangent that's worse or just as bad, you have not only little kids who just have access to the internet and could do a simple Google search, then you take teenagers. They're gonna spread that like it's wildfire. Teens are assholes. Like it's just
Now you're known between Pittsburgh High School as that one aunt that sold her ass during a Christmas event to her family.
right, and like
That's such a disgusting thing because these are children. Like, I don't think they even thought about that. Like, the minors in the family at this Christmas function that could have
They
gotten
typically
this.
don't. The fact that she's handing out stuff at a family function, she doesn't care about who sees it. She just cares about how much money she's going to make off of it. She has no care for the family or anything else like that whatsoever. I feel like that's purely monetary driven or monetarily driven for her to see just how much money she's actually going to try to be able to make this holiday season with all of these specials and shit
I
like
just
that.
want to know how she's living life this carefree. Like how you're this confident to do it at a family function where there are children around, where you're passing it out to literally like other family members just because they're not blood. Like that, how do you go about life like that? How do you just exist being like, oh yeah, 3 of these men have definitely seen me do something. Anyway, who wants chicken? Like, wow, how are you living life?
Oh my. Who wants chicken?
She's living life trying to be a damn home wrecker is what she's doing.
Shows up. I brought the mac and cheese in my ass. Like, no,
Yeah, for real.
No.
All family functions canceled after that. At least 5 people are getting divorced, OP being one of them. Never invite her to a function again. Oh my lord.
Oh yeah, no. That's just downright disgusting at this point.
Only invite the cousins that were like, this is weird, what the fuck are you doing? Did anybody else get this?
Just stay home from now on. No more family functions. Just order takeout and get a pizza.
Honestly.
We'll FaceTime you.
Honestly.
We'll FaceTime you.
For real.
We'll
Oh
send
my
you
god.
we'll send you a card.
So we got one more story for the night. And this comes from r/entitled people. So when I was looking for stories, I was going through my usual Reddits, which is Am I the Asshole? Best of Redditor Updates, True Off My Chest, relationship advice. There's a lot of relationship Christmas stories. Oh my lord. But they were like messy, and also 5 pages long. But then I thought about entitled people because unfortunately the holidays tend to bring out like some I think the worst in people when they want something that's like $2,000 and you make, $8.25 an hour. So I thought this would be a little interesting one, and let's see here. So it's titled Anaphylaxis. You remember how you ruined Christmas Eve, right? So this happened when I was 12, but I was told recently to post here because it came up again. Two main characters, other than me, are Snobby Aunt, isn't related to me, we'll call her Janice, and her husband is my mom's brother, but he's not relevant. My mom is kind of the entitled person throughout the story, though, so bear with me. Christmas Eve, we usually spent having dinner at Janice's house. There's a bathroom connected to the dining room on the first floor, and this year the dinner was actually in the dining room and not on the attached covered porch like it normally was. Janice doesn't believe in kid food, and her children didn't have TV dinners until they went to college. So this event always had everything homemade and was one of the worst events for me growing up because I have food aversions, a lot of them. Everyone called it picky eating, and they still do, but a lot of people outside of my family has suspected that I have some form of diagnosis waiting for me that my family will just never want to check for. I'm checking for it now, though, in observation. This particular year, I was 12 years old, and since I had not eaten more than some bread, everyone was trying to get me to eat something. Even though we were a 5-ish minute walk from home, so finally someone brings over a plate of chocolate chip cookies and tells me to just eat some. I kid you not, it's been over a decade. I still remember these cookies. I probably ate close to 10 of them. They're definitely the best cookies I've ever had in my life. But after eating some, my mouth started to feel kind of tingly. I started to feel sick, like really sick. I can't remember if someone was in the bathroom by the dining room or if I knew I was going to throw up, but I remember excusing myself to go to the upstairs bathroom that was more over the kitchen and further away from where the food was. My lips felt swollen, my tongue felt swollen, I couldn't stop puking or crying. My mom came up after a while to scold me again for being so picky about what I ate, yelling, "They were just walnuts," as if I honestly was just making the puke that bad, and lying to her about feeling like my lip and tongue were swollen because of the walnuts. She gets mad, and we leave because I ruined the party. Then after walking home, I'm still gagging and crying, so she angrily gets me in the car and yells at me until the first stoplight. I'm not puking, I was too scared to keep crying, so she turned around and we went home. 7 years later, I get allergy tested for something completely unrelated, and I ask for a copy of my results after the doctor hands me an EpiPen before I was even allowed to leave the office. A positive allergy was a 9mm rash, like a bug bite. My skin reaction to cashews was almost 30 centimeters. I'm officially deathly allergic to tree nuts. But still to this day, I wondered how my entitled aunt and mom had to be to remind me every year how I ruined that one dinner crying about swollen mouth and my tongue and throat burning, and to genuinely believe that I was just being such a brat that I was forcing myself to puke over cookies. Cookies that I still believe to be the best I've ever eaten.
Oh, wow.
Leave 'em.
Okay. So,
Like, nope,
the first
they're not family no more. They tried to kill
the first
you.
thing the first thing I would say about family, especially in this fact, is that if you're watching your daughter throwing up with their lips swollen, everything swollen, they look red, I would be, hella concerned of my child. I would be extremely concerned of my child. I'd be like, "Are you dying? Hello? Let me save you." And at this point, her mom was like, "You're being a brat." I think that you should have called CPS, because at that point, you don't need that parent, because if she's going to be a fucking asshole, even though you're literally dying on the toilet, throwing up your entire heart and lungs, I think, you need a new parent.
Dude, for
Like,
real,
how
that
could you sit
level.
there and not?
Well, and like to
How
be
could you sit there and not
so
love your child?
ignorant to be like, you're ruining this party, instead of having genuine care to be like, oh my god, you're throwing up, like something's wrong. Especially if you
Right.
know your kid, and I know this from my mother, if you look off, a parent clocks that so fast, so quick, to where they're gonna look at you and be like, this is
You
not
can't
just
hide it from
regular
'em.
food poisoning. Like, they're gonna see the swelling. When I was going through stuff, my mom took one look at me. This is an adult. I was like 20 when I got like really, really sick. She took one look at me and said, "Oh my god, you're not driving. Stay on the couch. I'm taking care of you. We're not going anywhere." And I was like, "Okay, mom." I proceeded to throw up and sleep for like an entire day because I was not well. But it took her all of 2 glances to be like, "You're staying. I know you're grown, but oh well." Like, because she cares.
No. Mothers know. Mothers
one
How
don't.
always
could you
know.
sit there and like, as a parent of a kid, how could you sit there and watch your child throw up and then proceed to blame this kid for 7 years that they ruined this one Christmas party about some damn cookies? And keep in mind, she got tested 7 years later about the same aspect, that she's allergic to tree nuts, right? But how could you not get your child tested 7 years ago when they were dying on the toilet. Like, I get fucking afraid when I watch my niece, right? And she's not even my kid. She's my sister's. And when I'm babysitting her and I'm watching her, I'm like, don't eat that. No, get that out. No. And I'm like treating her like she's my kid, you know? And I'm like, no, don't do that. No. Because I remember she was allergic to these plants that my mom brought home, and I threw them out the same day.
Yep.
I threw them out the same day because I gave a fuck. I was like, because you give a fuck about your kid. And at this point, your mom doesn't give a fuck about you. So I'd probably disown my own mom. I'd be like, you're not my mom. Fuck you. Get the fuck out of here.
Dude, and like, it's just, and I get that because I come from like a standpoint. I could even take like a story from literally today. When I was at work, a family, it was a dad and 3 kids, right? The youngest one could not talk. She had her 2 front teeth and that was it. She was so cute. She was adorable. I didn't even care what she did to the store, that I was like, you know what, I'll pick it up later. I'm not too worried about it. But while dad was getting the coffee and talking to the other 2 kids about what they can get, because one of them was sick, I had my eyes on that kid the entire time. I was like, what are you doing? You picking things up? All right. I'm not against hopping over this counter if something goes anywhere near your mouth, because I know all of our merchandise is either glass or wood. So like, you can grab things, but I'm you're 2 feet away from me. You're not even my kid.
I'm watching. I'm watching you, child.
She had the chubbiest little cheek grin, and just to see her little 2 teeth cracked me up. But like, that's not even my child, and I had enough observation to be like, all right, we're making sure nothing happens, because that's just like genuine care for another human, especially a human that they don't know what they're doing. They're little dum-dums. It's why we have to do it for them.
Mm-hmm.
You also don't know any better. As a child, you don't know anything, you know? And I don't like, I'm gonna say this as like a hot take for me, is that if you're a parent and you have no patience for a kid who doesn't understand, you don't deserve to have kids, because at that point, your child doesn't know any better, right? You birthed this kid, right? You brought this kid in the world when you opened up your 2 legs, and now you're mad that you, after open up your 2 legs, your kid don't know anything. Your kid doesn't know anything because you won't teach the kid. You won't actively communicate with the kid. You won't teach how to express their feelings and emotions and actually portray things. Like my niece, long story short, my niece is staying with my mother, and my mother's raising her, and I've been helping raise my niece, right? And I babysit, I take care of her sometimes when she needs it, because my mother's raised 3 kids already, right? She's pretty old at this point, and on the same aspect, this baby Kyra is almost a year, and she's been sign language, food, eat, bathroom, this, that, and knows how to communicate their feelings. Like usually when they're a baby, they're hollering, temper tantrums all over. And my mom's done this, 3 times now, on the 4th one, and I'm watching as this baby is not even close. Like, she's the most sophisticated and intelligent baby I've ever seen, just based on the experience and the patience you have for a kid. And that's exactly what I aspire to be as an adult, because of my hot take is, if you have a kid and you're not patient with this kid, you're not actually actively being in the kid's life, instead of just being like, here's an iPad.
Exactly.
I don't think you deserve to have a child if you're just going to neglect it. Neglect
If you're
your
just
child.
gonna make an iPad kid, you're not ready to have kids.
Oh, precisely. Because
Yeah.
I've seen that happen in my lifetime, of a kid getting the short end of the stick and being like, oh, but here's an iPad. Have fun. One, that's how you raise a brat, and they're entitled to all 9s with no actual grasp on the world, but they truly don't know any better because you never told them otherwise. You just said, Bluey will teach you. Have fun. Like, did Bluey not going to teach you that?
What the fuck is Blue?
That's not how the world works.
It's really not. It doesn't. That is not how the world works. It doesn't work that way. You have to teach your kid social, like, keep in mind, based on like health records and all of that, if these things don't come naturally, that's fine. You work with it, you adapt, and you evolve. But if you can If you help your kid teach social skills, communication, being able to talk to you and explain their wants and needs instead of having a temper tantrum and going through the process of these things. I've seen a lot of parents let their kids have temper tantrums and like let their kids throw the stuff in the middle of the store and just holler and scream. You know what I mean? It's not healthy, right? It's not a healthy habit when you can actually just communicate with your child because it's you, it's another you.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And also,
People
the
have
only
gone
like
soft nowadays.
they definitely listen, man. If I threw a tantrum in a store, my
got
mom
my
would grab
ass
us by our
whipped.
scruff and she would pull me back and be like, "I will make you cry in front of all of these people if you do not stop." And I would be like, "Oh, we're done, Mom."
You see, my
Yep.
mother, when
Yep.
she was raising me back in the day, I want to say this because my mom is my hero. She's raised 3 kids on her own. She worked all the time. She did it all. She's like a superhero to me, right? But as I was growing up, I remember I think I was like 7, right? And I was still doing temper tantrums. And my mom, she walked up to me in the middle of the store. I was like, "Mom, I want this." She was like, "No, you can't have that. We don't have the money." And I was like, "But I want it." Right? And I was that kid. She walked up to me. She pinched me on the fat of my arm. And she said, "We're going to talk about this later." So when we got home, she sat me down and said, I'm not going to whip you. I'm not going to do any of that. I'm just going to take away the things that you love, and you'll have to realize the consequences of your actions, because you go through life, and if you do these exact actions when you're an adult, you go to jail and you'll live in jail for the rest of your life. You don't want that. So I'm going to teach you the same consequences of those actions now. And that's why I was a theater
The
kid.
same way my mom was.
There you go.
The same fucking way my mom was, bro. I feel that. It wasn't okay,
Your
hips.
hip felt it too.
Yeah, it did. It was anything bad happens. Anything bad happens, or you don't make certain marks that your parents wanted you to, it's okay, well, you don't get to go hang out with those friends you wanted to, or you don't please. Or, this one thing that brings you joy in this house, yeah, we're taking that from you for a month. So figure it out, bud. And yeah. So I feel that, bro. I
I
honest to
also
God
do want to
feel that.
say, like, on a different note that isn't learning consequences and actions, just in terms of, like, oh my lord, you're dying. In terms of children, what
My
kid
demons, bro.
is going to make themselves throw up over cookies unless they ate so much they vomited? But, like, no kid's turning down cookies, and no kid's gonna be, like, having the reaction that he did over cookies. Because I can promise you, I've had bad cookies in my life where I was like, this does not taste good. But I was like 6, and I would eat one and be like, I didn't like that. But then I would see it again on the table, and I'm like, ooh, a cookie. Like,
I think when I was like young, when I was a kid, I remember one time, this is going to be a really funny thing, but I'm allergic to a certain ice cream called sherbet. I don't know what is in it, but it makes me flame up completely. I remember my mom gave me sherbet when I was a baby, and she told me this story vividly, so I remember every detail. But when I ate the sherbet, my entire mouth went red, and my mom grabbed me, and we went to the hospital in less than 10 minutes of the time I got that sherbet. So seeing this parent come into the bathroom and be like, "You're ruining Christmas," or what was it? You're ruining it's Christmas party, right?
yeah, you're ruining Christmas dinner.
You're ruining the Christmas party. And then continue to badmouth that child for 7 years based on the fact that the kid was just allergic. You're a terrible parent. You're a terrible parent.
Yeah, that's just...
I'm just saying.
I'm glad OP got it, like, sorted, and I'm glad they have an EpiPen now. But dear God, if you haven't already, please, like, go, if not no contact, low contact. Set a boundary line and be like, yo, until y'all stop bringing this
Yeah.
up, like, I'm not coming around, because respectfully, almost died. That
Fuck
wasn't all
you.
that fun.
Yeah. Respectfully, Fuck you.
I don't have middle fingers, but you get the point.
Respectfully, get out of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Like,
mean, hey man, with
no.
anaphylactic shock, I don't know. I was gonna have a quip, but then I lost it. That was the shocking end of the episode. Please laugh. Thanks. Yeah. So after that, I mean, we will see y'all in the next episode, and I just want to thank AGP one more time for taking the time tonight to come sit here and yap with us.
It was fun. I
Bye-bye.
had a great time. Definitely want to show up again.